Hi guys, I'm sorry we weren't able to have class tonight, but I have created this little PowerPoint to review our upcoming assignment. So our assignment is, and let me pull it up here for us to see. See if I can move that over. We're going to map out a clinical algorithm for the detection, management, and support of a selected psychosocial cancer survivorship need. And then you'll do a presentation about that. So you will be assigned to a group and provided a psychosocial domain to focus on for your project. Since there's only two of you, you guys can each choose one. The finished product will be a diagram with clear choices for the management of the psychosocial cancer domain based on the results of the assessment tools you identified. So it should be designed with you guys looking from the lens of a oncology nurse practitioner. The final part of this is just for you to have all your up-to-date references, not from up-to-date, but that they're current references in APA format. So there's a couple different tools that you can use to do this. For mapping tools where you have like a center node, and then you have arrows linking to other nodes, kind of like a Prezi presentation. You can use Poplet, Coggle, MindMaster. For an infograph, you can use all these different tools here that I've just learned about. So you might just want to choose one and use that. So I will be posting a little bit, some tutorials on how to use these, but this video right here is just about how the theory behind an algorithm and what we want you to do. So for the domain that you are going to actually choose, I think Dixie and Kate, you can each choose one of the two domains, or you can say that you want to do group work on these, but that you'll look at how in this oncology, the cancer survivor need, how are you going to assess this need? How are you going to detect it? So primary prevention there. How assessment tools would be maybe secondary prevention. And then what are the management strategies? So these should be the most up-to-date from clinical guidelines on how to manage whatever the topic is that you are going to address. Then you can look at what are the goals of therapy. You can look at what are the resources that you might want to give your patients while you were seeing them in the outpatient environment, what they would, when they might need something acutely, what you can deliver right now, what you might refer them to, and then when would you like to follow up? When would you like to see this person again? So the two domains, they were taken from the quality of life, not Fife, model for long-term cancer care survivor. There's the psychological well-being. Within this domain is control, anxiety, depression, enjoyment, leisure, fear of recurrence, cognitive attention, and distress of diagnosis and control of treatment. And the second part is the social well-being, or the second domain. So in there is family distress, roles and relationships, affect, sexual function, affection, sexual function, parents, isolation, finances, and work. So I did find a nice little sample algorithm here. So this is an oncology algorithm for addressing fertility. And here's the link for where that was. Live Strong really does a lot with younger adults, cancer survivors, and one of those issues is fertility. So you can see here they start out with what's going to happen first. Well, the diagnosis will be made, then the treatment plan will be developed, and then it says This is a kind of a yes/no algorithm. Does the plan put the patient's fertility at risk? Yes, then document the discussion about this risk. The next step would be, is the patient interested in fertility preservation? If yes, then you're going to discuss this. For women, this is what you do here. Men, that's what you do there. So that's just an example, and I'm not sure what tool was used to create this. This looks more like maybe it would be an infograph. You can do this just using a PowerPoint as well. However you like to go about that. In PowerPoints here, you could just do insert and then a shape or a smart art. In the smart art, they might have something that fits what you want your workflow or algorithm, what you might, if it's a process, there's all these different processes you can choose from, cycles. So there are those options too. So just a little background. Algorithms and cancer survivorship. So algorithms really started as more of a clinical biophysical focus, and I think some examples of that is if you go to, I have so many windows open here now. Here it is. So this is the MD Anderson Cancer Center, some information about their clinical practice algorithms. You see here they have cancer survivorship algorithms and all the different cancer sites there. So if you click on one of these, I wonder if I can expand this window here. Yeah, I think I can. Move it over. So say we click on something like ovarian cancer. So you click on that and you see an algorithm here. This is about survivorship. It talks about the surveillance there, what you would do on a regular visit, what happens if this or if that, the steps that you would take. But really, if you look at a lot of these algorithms here, there's not much about how a person is feeling, how are they doing with their support, their finances, all these things we've been talking about in our course about the psychosocial effects of cancer. Here on this one, it says distress management was fantastic. So this is an algorithm that includes this. So you click on this one right here, and it would go to distress screening and psychosocial management of adult cancer. So this has really been a long time coming that they've had more of these types of algorithms that consider the psychosocial response to cancer. And this is a great one here that shows how you can go and you can have a screening, your distress score. If it's a 4 or more, the nurse sends a message to social work. Social work completes assessment. Does the patient require additional support? And then there's appendices A and B for that. Consultation. And so you can see kind of this is a whole flow of that would help you make a decision process. I'm sure you guys are familiar with using these. So that's an example, another example of these kind of algorithms. Our work processes, they might be called. So algorithms typically, been started out just as kind of simple yes and no, but they have kind of also gotten a little bit more elaborate, where you can also include more decisional support, and these decision support can be integrated with an EHR. So that's great. Sometimes, if you'll say, does the state they're at risk for suicide and you put that, say yes in the computer, then it will send you to, well, what should you do? That's an example of clinical decision support. And that is a component of the chronic care model. So here's the link to those MD Anderson toolkits and resources, the algorithms there. If you don't want something like an algorithm, you want something more kind of systems-wide, you can also talk more about how the workflow might occur at the facility where you're working or where you would like to work one day. So a workflow is really a patient-centered workflow is something that strings together individual steps, the linking of processes and the bridging of activities by multiple caregivers to create an effective and efficient orchestration of resources to enhance the health of the patient. So technology can help with this, but it's just a tool. You as a healthcare provider, as an NP, are the ones who puts all these steps in place. And if these steps or resources, if there's something missing, then the workflow really, it doesn't matter if you're using technology or pen and paper, what you put into it is what you're going to get out with these workflows. So you can also choose something that might be more of a workflow about, people are coming into my clinic and they're having anxiety. What do we do about this? So that's another, I think it's just another category of what you can do in this assignment. And then here's just an example here of a workflow and the link to an article that goes over this workflow about integrating survivorship care planning into radiation oncology. So all of these links that I put in here are really great reads if you have time. I put some of these into the Canvas course under the readings. It's just important to note that these workflows and algorithms have traditionally not included the psychosocial response, people's response to cancer and being a cancer survivor. But they have found that including the patient and holistic information has led to improved patient incomes, a more efficient use of the healthcare system, and reduced costs. So that is all I really have. Here's the link to this article here, and I hope that you all are staying healthy and staying safe, and sending lots of prayers to you and your family through this just chaotic time that we're having. Miss having you guys, seeing you guys in class, but hopefully we will all meet again next Tuesday, and I hope that this video has been informative. Okay, God bless.